In 5 days from now, on August 31st, through Aflac kickoff, we will have the Virginia Tech Hokies going up against the South Carolina Gamecocks, a top 15 team in the country in Atlanta, Georgia, at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And now joining us is the fourth-year head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies as they get set to embark on another journey. And that, of course, is Coach Brent Pry. Coach, always appreciate you joining us on the show. Thanks so much. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing good, man. I'm happy to do it. We're getting excited around here about Sunday.
Yeah, there's so much turnover now in college football, and I know the rosters are always different from one year to another, but now with the transfer portal and how hard teams hit them, you don't always know what you're going to get. You know, case in point, 2 years ago, Florida State was awesome. Last year, they just didn't hit in the portal. In the summer and also the spring, when you get some of these guys actually under your watch and it's more than just NIL offers and, you know, watching tape of them from previous spots, like, what's really surprised you with this football team, and where's kind of the excitement level at about what you learned about your team in the spring and the summer?
Yeah, I think it's two things, really, Zach. I'm pleasantly surprised how well they've come together. We've been intentional about it, but we've got some really good kids that embrace the newcomers, young and old, and really welcome them to the Tech football community, the culture, and so that's been nice. I mean, that's so important, especially in today's game, that you can have, a sense of brotherhood on your team. We all know how important that is in this game. And then secondly, these guys they're checking the boxes for what we hope they'd be. You look at that film and you say, man, this guy could be what we're looking for at defensive end or at corner. And when they get here, you don't really know for sure until you got them firsthand and you're working with them day in and day out, how well they learn, how hard they work, all those things. So I've been pleased with what we've done in the offseason.
And then for you individually, right, everyone is supposed to get better year to year, and you learn things each and every year when you do this. Doesn't matter how long you've done it. I feel as if everyone in any profession learns something each and every year when you get the reps that you get. From when you walked on campus and first became a head coach in 2022 until now, how do you think you've grown as a head coach as you get set for your fourth year as a head football coach?
Yeah, well, for sure I grew more this year, than the previous years combined. Learning that you got to take a really deep dive into every area of your program in each offseason to make sure that the standards and the expectations are being met and what you expect things to look like, things to be going on. That's what's happening. And at times you may find they're not, or they may be exceeding it. But also you learn that, where there may be some shortcomings that you haven't thought of, that you didn't have expectations laid out for, and you put them in place. So, we're still learning a bunch here as a staff, as a program, but we're making some big strides in the right direction.
Brent Pry, I remember when we talked to you around this time last year, there was so much excitement around the program. There was so much excitement with your quarterback in Kyron Drones, right? He's the man. He was supposed to have a big season. And unfortunately, last year, he got hurt a lot, and he suffered a bunch of injuries. So I always wonder where someone will be at mentally when they go through a really tough time after getting all the praise a year ago. Where is your quarterback's confidence at as you guys get set to kick things off 5 days from now?
Yeah, as you mentioned, he went through a tough season, trying and fighting and hanging in there, trying to get well, and then having setbacks. And, it was one thing and then it was another. And, felt like he was letting his team down and certainly wasn't having the season that he was hoping to have. So he's a truly seasoned guy right now. I think the first piece was getting him healthy and giving him the reassurance that he can be the athlete that he wants to be, and we need him to be, from a health standpoint. And I think we're there. He's had a great preseason camp. He's never missed a day. He's never missed a rep. And, then the second piece was to surround him with coaches and players that make sense for him, that fit his skill set, that, will allow him to reach his potential as our quarterback. But he's truly a seasoned guy. He's had the ups and downs of this thing over the last 3 years. When he first got here, he didn't win the job and had to battle through that and become the starter. He had much success, and then, disappointment and injuries, and it's been pretty trying for him. But when I say he's a seasoned quarterback now, he's been through about everything that those guys go through at that position, coaching changes. And so I'm excited for the year he can have, for him, for us. We're certainly a much better football team with a healthy Kyron Drones and a Kyron Drones that is playing to his potential.
Assuming he has good health this year and everything's clicking for him, what type of quarterback do you have?
Yeah, we got true dual threat guy. His arm looks as live and as strong as it ever has. I think he's making bigger decisions, better decisions. I think he looks faster. He's leaner. He's a polished guy that can make all your throws. He's got a confidence that is genuine and true from what he's invested and sacrificed to get to this point. So, he's a true vet, and he's a guy that can hurt you with his legs. He can hurt you with his arm, and I think that the other trait for him, as I mentioned, is he's one of the toughest kids on our team.
Coach Brent Pry here with us. You guys get Terry and Stewart in the transfer portal coming over from Bowling Green. Just what does he bring to your program?
Yeah, he had a great career as a running back at BG, and he's battled some injuries. He's been up and down, since getting on campus, but he's got a special skill set. And I'm anxious to get him kind of 100% and rocking and rolling. That could happen this weekend. We're hoping he has a good couple days here. But outstanding young man with a unique skill set. One of those guys that looks like, he's always meant to be a running back. He's short, he's sawed off, he's stocky, got great balance, good explosiveness. So we need him to have a good year for us.
What is he battling through right now? Do you guys expect to have him this weekend?
Yeah, he'll be a day-to-day guy. He's tough. He's been up and down throughout camp. He's had a couple of nagging things. And I wish he'd had a little better camp. I wish he'd been more available. But we got him where we need him now, and we're trying to get him up to speed and get some reps under his belt and, see what he can do for us on Sunday.
This is a big year for you. There's no sugarcoating it. I know all staffs would love to have continuity, Brent Pry, but that's just not the nature of this sport. Bringing in two coordinators, Sam Seifkis and also Philip Montgomery, what do they also bring to your program, and how do you expect kind of the offense and defense to look under new leadership?
Yeah, well, Coach Seifkis is he's young in age, but he's very experienced. He's got great experience as a play caller at the college level with much success. And then he's got, a really good background in the NFL, but specifically with some really good defensive minds. And he's very polished. He's very smart, bright coach with a good defensive plan, identity. We're a mixture of things right now, and he's been able to pull it all together and teach it and coach it. Phil Montgomery brings to us a true quarterback coach, a guy that has developed a bunch of guys over his college career that, from his time at Houston to Baylor to Tulsa, he's had a bunch of guys that have had success in college and gone on to play in the NFL, including a Heisman Trophy winner. So, him and Kyron, their relationship and seeing things, pretty clearly together, I think has been very important. He brings, like Sam does defensively, there's a real identity on offense, that our players have latched on to. And, he's an experienced veteran coach. Phil's been a head coach. And so he's truly – we got two coordinators right now that are leading both sides of the ball. They're the head coach of those units. And, we made a change at the strength and conditioning position. And when you take a deep dive into our program and where we needed to be better, there were some things in our off season that it just wasn't happening for us. So we made a change there. We hired Jarrett Ferguson, who was a very good player here when I was coaching the first time. He was a walk-on, earned a scholarship, became a draft guy, a captain-type guy. And he's really, injected some energy and some enthusiasm and some vigor into that weight room and into the off-season program. So feel good about what we did there. And then obviously we made a change at the offensive line coach position and hired Matt Moore from West Virginia, proven developer of talent as well as an outstanding recruiter. So feel good about the changes we made. Never easy, but feel good about what we've been able to do.
And, of course, it's never easy because right away you guys get thrown right into the fire. And a lot of people are going to be watching coming up on Sunday. Shane Beamer's done a really good job with South Carolina. They're a top 15 team. LaNorris Sellers, one of the better players in the country. It's a phenomenal test and an opportunity for you guys to make a statement coming up on Sunday.
It certainly is. I got a ton of respect for Shane. He was on the roster here when I was coaching here in the 90s. And obviously, his dad is revered and one of my biggest mentors. But Shane's done an outstanding job. That roster he has is as talented as some of the better ones I've coached against in the SEC. Both sides of the ball, all levels. They've really done a nice job. That's a great-looking football team. They're fast. They're big. They got quarterback play. They got their running back eligible yesterday or this morning, and got a big, talented receiver that was a national recruit. They've got a really nice-sized offensive line. They got both their tackles back. And then on defense, they got two of the best edge rushers in the league. I mean, you talk about Stewart, and he's sensational. Like, you have to have a plan for him each and every snap. And on the other side, they got a good guy. They got a heck of a safety that's returning, that runs their secondary. So I can't say enough good things about the talent they have on that football team. And clearly Shane's done a great job. So we got our hands full. But, these guys came to Virginia Tech for opportunities like this. Play on the big stage, play on national TV, play a top 15 team, play a Heisman, trophy candidate at quarterback. I mean, that's why they came here. And we know the challenge that, we're presented with. But we feel like we got a pretty good team, too.
Well, we're excited to see it play on out. Once again, Aflac kickoff coming up on Sunday, August 31st at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Virginia Tech up against South Carolina. Brent Pry, the fourth-year head football coach with the Hokies, joining us on the Zach Gelb Show. Coach, appreciate the time as always. Good luck, good health this season.
Thanks, Zach. Best to you, brother.
You got it.